discussion as we start Hispanic Heritage Month this year. Just to give you guys a brief background of what Hispanic Heritage Month is, our office each year seeks to collaborate with different entities on campus to educate the campus as it relates to Hispanic heritage. And that's the contributions that Hispanic Americans have made to society. Nationally recognized September 15th through October 15th is Hispanic Heritage Month. Today's topic is, as you can see, Hispanics Role in Michigan's Rebirth. We wanted to take a lane that was beyond the topic of immigration, beyond the topic of negativity. Hispanic Heritage Month is about the contributions that Hispanics have made to this society.
Hello, I'm a sociology professor here at Ferris. Been here since the late 90s and came here from Chicago, which is where I came from a small town in Ohio, and then went to Chicago when I was just out of college. And one of the things I did, I became fascinated with lots of communities in that city, but I became fascinated a lot with the various Latino communities that were in Chicago. And I brought that interest here to Ferris and have been really involved in advocating and connecting the university with Latino communities in West Michigan ever since I got here.
Let's give a round of applause, Dr. Baker, for being here.
Good morning. My name is Lupe Ramos Montini. Lupe and Ramos are Spanish and Montini is French. I was born a Mexican American, so Lupe Ramos is my original name. And I taught for 36.5 years, anything from pre-K to high school. I served as a principal, bilingual education director. Originally, I am from Texas. And so as a young girl, I came to this state to harvest the crop. So I was a migrant farm worker. Then 10 years later, I came back as a teacher, and I taught the children of the migrant families. So I want to thank Mr. Wade this morning for allowing me to participate in this panel, and you all look terrific from down here.
Give a little bit of round of applause for coming out.
I'm a student here at Ferris. My major is social work and I'm minoring in minority relations in the U.S., sociology and Spanish. I'm from a rural town called Alma, Michigan. It's right in the middle. We have a lot of harvesting and field work, so we have a large Hispanic population that comes in the summer, as well as we're seeing the Hispanic population grow a little bit within the community, more in the neighboring communities of St. Louis, where we have a lot more Hispanic farms. And I worked with the migrant workers in teaching English and helping to facilitate a bilingual education program for the older generation over there.
Thank you, Kaylee.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Rick Griffin. I teach political science. I'm also a co-coordinator of the Political Engagement Project, which is the reason a lot of you are here. I came to Ferris in 1990. I was teaching at a university that at that time was called University, still is, University of Texas Pan American, had been Pan American University. It was right down on the border with Mexico. I was born and raised and grew up in Texas. Pan American is just a few miles from where Lupe grew up. I met Lupe several years ago.
I graduated from Pan American.
You did? Oh, you were a Pan Am. She's a Pan Am. She's a Bronco.
Yes, I am.
When I was on teaching at Pan American from 1987 to 1990. Now, being born and raised in Texas, I grew up immersed in the Hispanic culture. To me, it's normal. It's the way it is. It's the way it's not. I was from the first grade going to school. I played baseball and had friends. My friends were both Latinos and Anglos. We use the word Anglos. When teaching at the University of Texas Pan American, most of my students, it was college classes, just like the ones you're taking, they were migrant workers as children. And so I began to really learn about the trials and tribulations that they went through. And so many of them had come to Michigan. Michigan's a place to come. So I immediately began studying the border culture, which led to a lot of other things. So I'm very happy to be here, and I'm glad that you're here and listen very carefully to what this panel has to say, I hope.
The first topic we want to talk about was population. The Hispanic community has definitely grown. And you see here in this graph, the United States graph of the growing Hispanic population that was received from the Census Bureau. And it says, if you can't read it there, the Hispanic population has grown by a greater percentage than any other group in the U.S. since 2003. Today, Hispanics make up 14% of the U.S. total residents, and the numbers are estimated to rise to 25% by 2050.
I'd like to just start real quick, and I think others can get more specific, but I think that one of the things I like to do, since I teach sociology, is that oftentimes when we talk about new peoples coming into the society, there's a discussion about what these new peoples are taking from us. And so there's not necessarily a conversation about what the contributions are. This isn't to suggest that we shouldn't have the debates around immigration, but I do think that for this 40 minutes or so that we're here, to kind of begin to think about what is it that this increase in numbers has benefited the society. I think that any time that you have immigration flows, there's contributions and there's consequences, and oftentimes it seems that we focus on consequences. So I want people to focus for now to think about the contributions. So if you look at the numbers of growth of the Hispanic population, oftentimes, again, it's a number that's often seen as a negative problem for the United States. But think about what's been happening in Michigan over the last 10 years, and the problem in Michigan has not been population increase, but population decrease. And so one of the things that's very important about not just populations of numbers coming into the state, but also contributions towards increasing businesses. In West Michigan alone, there are over 1,400 businesses that are owned by Hispanics, and that number is growing.
Okay, well, this is not only Hispanic Heritage Month, this is National Hispanic Heritage Month. This is a time designated by the U.S. Congress to celebrate the contributions that we as Hispanics have made. I don't know how many of you know how many Hispanic countries there are in the world. Anybody want to take a shot? How many Hispanic countries where Spanish is spoken? There's 21 Hispanic countries where Spanish is spoken, and we consider ourselves Hispanics. So when we celebrate National Hispanic Heritage Month, we're celebrating 21 different countries. And also, we also include there the European country of Spain, because that's our mother country. So what contributions have we made as Hispanics? Well, let me tell you, we are hardworking individuals. As I said to you before, my family used to come as migrant farm workers when we were young, because everybody had to contribute to the wealth of the family. But we don't forget that hard work also entails getting educated. So education is very important. And in my family, we were 9, and we have attorneys, we have nurses, we have teachers, we have, you name it, we have it. Because we didn't only believe hard work was in the fields, but also getting a strong education so we could be positive contributors of the history of the United States.
Then I learned to be proud of my heritage, and soon I started encountering other Hispanics and Mexicans in the community. And I think it was really enlightening for the entire community just to be able to learn about another culture and not be so ignorant about other people and their traditions. And so I think the Hispanics, like growing in the U.S., it's really enlightening for everybody to be able to have that other cultural experience and be able to live together in unity and be able to cooperate with each other. So I think it helps us grow as people to have those as Hispanics in the U.S. Like in my school, there's still a small Hispanic population. In Alma, there only 5.1% of the entire city is Hispanic, which is only 473 people, which has grown significantly through the years. But said a lot of it is just being able for other students to be culturally tolerant of other people and be accepting of them and to learn about other things.
My Catholic elementary school in Texas, from the very beginning, as I mentioned a while ago, I was immersed in the Mexican, Mexican-American, Hispanic, whatever, Latino, whatever word you want to use, culture. That's natural to me, that's normal. What's foreign to me is, and it always has been, okay? What's foreign to me is, to be honest with you, when I came to Michigan 21 years ago, to hear Anglos in the attitudes that, not all by any means, but some Anglos had toward Mexican Americans. And I was going, you know, I mean, I grew up in the Southwest. The American Southwest, especially Texas and New Mexico, are very different from the Midwest and the Northeast, very different. I tell my students, a lot of years ago, before you guys were born, I got my driver's license, okay? And for example, I was 16 years old. And in Texas, and it's still that way today, when you go take the driver's license test, you have to pass the road signs. You have to know road signs. Well, in Texas, you have to know the road signs in both English and in Spanish. Because when you go south of San Antonio, most of the road signs change over to Spanish. That's a long way. It's what, 250, 300 miles from San Antonio to the border. That's the way it is there. That is normal there. So when I hear people say English only, it's never been English only where I'm from. It's always been bilingual where I'm from. The only criticism that I had of the Texas educational system is that they didn't make me learn Spanish.
And we've sort of already talked a little bit about our next piece, which is Hispanics in the workforce, and Dr. Baker alluded to 1,400 businesses in Michigan as it relates to the Hispanic home. Lupe also talked about the transcending work that Hispanics have had in the role of farm workers. This brief graph right here sort of shows from the National Science Foundation Hispanics in the workforce as far as all occupations, and you look at the percentages, health, technology, teachers, professional related, engineers, so on and so forth. I guess the question to the panel is, have there been any changes or increases in different areas of the workforce that you've seen, Hispanics going into fields as it relates to not typically the norm, or has there been a little bit of the same?
Well, the Hispanics are getting more involved, more informed, and better educated. So therefore, one of the big things in the Grand Rapids area is a lot of small businesses. People love our food, and so many small restaurants are open. In fact, you go down bridge, you're gonna find about 5 different Mexican restaurants. And most of the food is Mexican. You will go to Division Street and you'll find some Caribbean food. So small businesses are opening all over Grand Rapids area and all over the United States.
Let's talk about you know, there is the perspective of the migrant farm workers, which is very important. But I'm thinking of the people that I encounter in my professional life in Grand Rapids, and people that I know through Lupe's committee to honor Cesar Chavez, and others that I encounter because I work with the schools in Grand Rapids. I mean, these are the people I encounter who are Hispanics in the workforce. They're teachers, and they're principals, and they're city planners, and they're university administrators, and they're social workers, and they're bankers, and they're architects. And so really I think that comes out of the next piece we're going to talk about, which is education, is that the other thing that's very interesting is that when I get to know several of these, I wouldn't say everyone is in this perspective, but what's very interesting is that oftentimes when I met teachers or city planners or principals, their parents were farm workers, and that they come from families that have worked hard to contribute to community, or they're like the community Kaylee is from, where they entered the state as farm workers and then stayed and contributed in many other ways, and now Kaylee's generation is going to college and will contribute in other ways too. So to see, I mean, I would imagine where we would see the fields that Latinos are in are going to be the fields that we're all in. So when you enter into your field, there's going to be people in your offices who are also Latino.
One of the pieces we wanted to highlight today to you all is just when you look at 2009 to 2010, as far as college enrollment, the Hispanic population, the enrollment was 349,000. You're talking about a 24% surge from the year before, more than all the other groups you can see here. Right behind are Black and then also Asian. But you know, it's just something to think about. Okay, what's been the driving factor for these changes? When you look here at Ferris, we have this year 423 Hispanic students enrolled system-wide, you know, to whereas a year ago we were at 340. So we're continuing to increase our Hispanic enrollment, and more students are coming to college and getting that experience. Despite the dropout rates that have occurred in high school, we're still getting a lot of students in the seats. What's been the driving factors from you all's perspective? I mean, Kaylee, I know you're here and you're going into some trying times, going into, you know, the years of close to graduation. You know, what's been the perspective from what you've seen of students coming to college?
Well, I think a lot of it's a change of perspectives from the teachers. I know when I first started going to school, like back in 3rd grade, I remember my teacher telling me, don't bother doing this stuff. You know, you're just gonna drop out later. Like that's what I was told. And so, like, I went home and told my parents. I was like, my teacher said that I'm not gonna graduate high school. Like that's just not reality. And they're like, no, your grandparents came here, they worked hard, they got us to have a good education, we didn't go to college, we want that for your generation. We want you to go to college and achieve that education to prove people wrong, you know, because I still feel that there's still that stereotype that, like, you know, Hispanics can't do as much because, you know, there's just that eluding thing over us, like, you just can't accomplish as much. But, so I think just that general mindset that we've always encountered is kind of what drives us, and just our parents. I know I'm the first one in my family to actually go to college, so like just having that really wants to make my family proud and encourage my cousins. You know, go to college. You know, you can have all these experiences. You know, you don't have to be stuck in like these really low minimum wage jobs, but you can go out and achieve something. You can make your family proud, get your name out there, and really promote the Hispanic heritage. And just you can do a lot for not just your family, but for everybody else out there. And I just know like schools are really like reaching out to Hispanics. This summer I worked with the Hispanic Center in Grand Rapids to take high risk high school and middle school students that are like risk of dropping out of school and show them that college is a reality. It's something that you can achieve. It's not just this like way up there and saying like I'm never going to be able to achieve it. It's not something that's out of your reach. It's obtainable. And I think just more people reaching out to help these students and to realize that, you know, though their parents are at this level, you know, you can do better. Like, you know, show the world what you're made of. I mean, our grandparents worked hard. There's no reason for us not to work hard too, because we can do different goals. So I think it's the reach out that's really even helped and encouraged Hispanics, and especially having Hispanic Heritage Month to show, you know, there are people proud of their heritage. Be proud of it. Embrace it.
Yeah, this is truly a wonderful feeling when we come to the year and we're celebrating National Hispanic Heritage Month, because we feel that we have a lot that we have accomplished and we want to share with the world. And I'm really happy to see all of you. Your young minds are going to transcend what you hear today to other groups as you reach your goals. So that's commendable. You're right. When I went to school, they told me the same thing. Go get married, have children, and settle down, and clean your house, and that's what you're going to do. Now, a lot of us, despite the system, we were going to succeed, because I'm really assertive, aggressive, and I was going to succeed. Now, coming from a family of 9 children, where our father and mother only went to about 3rd grade because they had to leave school because they had to go work and support the family. And so I had a lot of role models, as I said to you before. In my family, we have nurses and attorneys, and even a minister I have in my family, and many other professions. So I had a lot of role models within my family, but a lot of my friends dropped out because of what they were told. Now let me tell you a really neat story. I went to California 2 years ago, and I went to visit this friend of mine who owns this company. He has his own airplane, and he's doing very, very well. He said, Lupe, when I went to school with you, they used to tell us, sit in the back, and you can talk. Don't talk too loud to disturb the rest of the class, because you're going to amount to nothing. And so just sit there and do your thing, and look it down. He didn't take this into, internally, he said, no, I'm going to prove them wrong, and now he's a millionaire with his own company. So anybody out there that's being told, or you have the perception, even within yourselves, that, you know, I can't do this, that's it's up to your mind to determine what you're going to be in this world. And there's a lot of potential I see in this room.
Educated on that, you know, what's the future outlook as far as our Michigan being impacted? Do we see growth in population continue to go, workforce, education, all three? What is it going to look as far as impacting Michigan's rebirth and getting to the next level?
You know, when I started talking, I said that with growth of population, growth of responsibility occurs too. And one of the areas where we as Hispanics have to truly concentrate and get involved with is politics, is voting, registering to vote, voting, learning, informing what the issues are, because they impact our population in all aspects. And some of the things that we have talked about today, education, housing, job creation, economic wealth, et cetera, all decisions that are made for all of you, for all of us, are made at a table just like this, and then we vote, and very few people go to vote, but all of the population has to live by whatever was decided, even if it's a very small percentage. So in the Hispanic community, this is one area that we really have to ponder on and get involved with if we're going to have the power and the political power and the political clout that is needed, because this arena is so important here in the United States in everything that we do.
I think that the Hispanic population is going to have a huge impact on Michigan. It's going to be a really positive impact. So I'm the first one in my family on the Hispanic side to actually go to college and to achieve that and to actually stay in school. And I go home talking about, like, oh my gosh, I had this great experience in college, I'm meeting all these people, I'm learning all these things, I'm going to become a social worker, I'm going to do all these things. And they realize, you know, hey, she's doing it. She's actually going to make it. Like, and then all of a sudden I got support. And then all of a sudden I'm talking to my sister and she goes, you know, Kay, I think I'm going to go to college too. I think I'm going to go in healthcare though, because I want to help people. And she's like, and I think I can do a good job at that. And then I talked to one of my other cousins. You know, her brother, yeah, he dropped out of high school. Her older sister went back after she dropped out and got her GED. And we're hoping that my other cousin will. But she talked to me, she goes, you know, I know a lot of people in our family don't really know about college, but you do. You know, I kind of want to go to Ferris. is I don't know a lot of other Hispanics that are going to college, and I want to go somewhere where I know someone. Can you help me get to college? What do I need to do? And just getting that one person to actually start a family to go to college, you know, it starts making a snowball effect. Then all of a sudden, like, it's a trend. Oh my gosh, this is a cool thing. I want to go to college. Like, yay, I want to get an education. It's really, I cried on the phone when my cousin called me up and told me she wants to come to Ferris. She wants to go into psychology. She wants to go to college. I'm crying because I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm helping my family get out there, and I'm helping making a difference in the world, and not just in the world, but in the Hispanic community especially.
I think we have run short on our time today, but let's give the panelists a round of applause for being here.